am a Muslim brother. So to all my Muslim, Assalamu alaikum. This meeting tonight, I like to start by, it's not going to work, so I'm going to just turn it off right there. I hope everyone can hear me. I'll speak loud if not. And if you get a chance to speak because of the microphone, I don't know what's wrong with it, I would ask you if you do the same thing. This meeting tonight is not for any political gain. It's not for any social gain. It's not to make social media, not for the news. It's not for any other thing but to help our children become better future leaders, whatever they want to be in life. I'm tired of just seeing people die younger than me. And how can we fix it is what this meeting is for. We all know the problems. We all know it's economics and the police and political, and they don't care about this and they don't care about that. This meeting and my agenda is to fix and come up with a solution for us to make it work for as a people. It has nothing to do with your religion. It has nothing to do with nothing but making it better for our children. Because if not, our city gonna be, turned over to people that we don't want here. It's already happening. They don't care about us. There's nobody here or nobody offered anything to help us or help any of the parents or anything but people that die at an early age. It's just like, oh, another black kid died in the community and that's it. It's on the news for 10 minutes. And nobody is that, oh, I can't tell on this news because we from the hood, so I don't want to get that nigga locked up. Excuse my French, but that's just the way it come out. So tonight, I asked if you speak, there is a time limit of 4 minutes to be be respectful of everybody here, so everybody get a chance to say what they have to say. We had a meeting this morning. It turned out very nice. We hit some key points about the community. We hit some key points about the solutions. We are also offering a meeting every Monday here at the Buffalo, thanks to the firemen and the union, and it's both unions, the firefighters union and the Brothers United Firefighters. They both volunteered for us to use this building for this situation, free of cost. So all I ask, if you have children with you and they use the bathroom, or if they use anything, please clean up behind them. And I guess we can get this started. I'd like to thank Brother Cornell, who came out this morning, Sean came out, Mr. Wees, and Rhonda Hurley in the back. I don't see who else came out this morning. I thank you guys for coming back because you can give some input on what happened this morning and some feedback for those who weren't here and missed out on what happened. Millionaire Entertainment, we need you because you can reach those youth as far as entertainment purposes. You have the ability to reach a Meek Mills that they listen to, or Yo Gotti that they listen to, or whoever they listen to. You feel Elegante last week with PNB Rock, that's who they listen to. So if you could get one of them to say, all right, look, I'm gonna come out to y'all school and talk to y'all about not killing one another at a certain age. That's a key point because you in that world. Because entertainment, believe it or not, is how kids learn and it's how they live. And it's that's what they look forward to. They don't look forward to doctors and lawyers and anything that we look forward to as I'm coming up. Like, I want to be a doctor. They don't look at that. They're like, oh, I want to be a rapper. I want to be GP. I want to be. They don't want to be nothing. Or they want to be the next football player. It's not going to happen. I'm not saying that they're not talented enough because the city got a lot of talent. But at the same time, it's a long stretch. 500 kids want to go in the NFL and only 2 or 3 make it. And they don't understand that. So it's like their dreams is let down because they don't make it. But what happened to your backup plan? They don't have no backup plan. Their backup plan is, oh, I'm going to go be the next rapper. I don't care. I got a couple words I can put together. I can put together spoken words too. It's a poem. Write it down and put it together. But like I said, I'm telling you, that's a key component, and I need you. Like I need you because I really do need you to try to reach out to that. You know what I mean? I'm going to get started. I'd like to thank, I don't know where that fast, he disappeared. Brian Coleman was here for briefly. Mr. Coleman right here. Oh, sorry about that. Councilman Brian Coleman, I couldn't see you. I appreciate you coming out, you didn't have to. And like again, this is not a political situation at all. When you speak your piece, speak your mind. I'm not gonna say, oh, you can't curse, you can't say. If that's how your heart feels, and you speaking the truth about something, say it. You know, I don't mean to offend nobody in this room by any words that I say. And if it does offend you, or if it does bother you, may Allah forgive me for what I say off my tongue, and may you forgive me as well. Because anything I do for my own, and He guides me in the words that I speak. So we're gonna get started, and again, I thank you guys for coming out. I guess first up, we'll start from, we could do from the back to the front, or give me 1 second. We do have an agenda, so I gotta stick to it. At this time, I'm gonna have Mr. Anthony Ways come up and give a brief on the goals and objectives of what we plan to do. So, thank you guys for taking the time to come.
Hello everybody, I really wasn't expecting to get up here, although my name is on goals and objectives. But the few things that we did discuss earlier today was about fathers first, figuring out how we can get young men involved directly as fathers in their children's lives, or as a substitute, because there are many single parents, and the goal is to try to put men in guys' lives and come up with ideas that young men, teaching younger men how to be men. So that was one of the things we came up with, brother. We talked about economic development. Can y'all hear me? Yeah. We talked about economic development.
She can't hear you back there.
We spoke on.
That's why I said it's in and out.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, we spoke on. Just speak loud. We spoke on economic development and trying to figure out how we can own the means of production. That way it's on us to determine wages and, you know, what's the product that we need to sell within our community and to external communities. So we discussed things of empowerment and how we can do better. There was a few young ladies that was here that had organizations that spoke to pageants and how to have sisters carry themselves accordingly. So the first meeting was more of organizing. Most people that was in charge of different organizations that came together and spoke either from their perspective or how we can come together to do better. There was also mothers that lost children to violence that spoke. There was a few tear jerkers. They spoke from the heart where they felt like they failed or where they felt like society felt them. So again, we try not to make this political or no hidden agendas. Just one, allowing us to express ourselves, everybody get a chance to really express themselves about what's going on in our community, and then how do we use our resources and coming together to bring about the change. So that was most of it. How do we force accountability? How do we have group teachings on proper etiquette and how to interact with each other? Reward and punishment, how do we do that? Jobs opportunity, job readiness. The brother spoke on love being the key component to all of it. You have to love your brother, you have to love our community, you have to love each other. And in love, we can get a lot of places with love. Also, we talked about making a commitment of 5 to 6 hours a month. One through a weekly meeting here, second through using the media and coming up with a plan of action for once a month to do. If that's supporting the sister, Ms. Anderson's organization or one of the organizations that's active in the community, but some way coming up with a plan of action that monthly we come together to support a cause that's geared towards the younger people in our community. So that was the goals. That's what we talked about earlier. Hopefully everybody add their input. Somebody will take notes in the back or the thing is being recorded, but someone please take notes. Then we'll bring them notes together. We'll come up with a name. Everybody can join the group on the media, and or we'll come back here Monday to have further discussions on how we're going to move forward.
Together, one of the things I've learned since I've actually been here in Camden was, believe it or not, Camden has a lot of resources. It's just little known, but there are a lot of resources. And when I first came over to Camden, one of the things I asked the kids was, what will it take for you to come to this program? And they said three things. Money, they want to know how to make money, they want fun things to do, and they want something to eat. And that's what we, as a staff, took out to do. Now, when we talk about, and I heard the young lady say that going to prison and it's difficult to get a job and those things, well, I disagree with that. I spent most of my adult life in the penitentiary. Through faith and education, I changed my situation. So, employers do hire. You know, we have a lot of our kids working. Employers do hire, and I deal with most of our kids who are adjudicated. They do have involvement with law enforcement. Again, is how do we get them to buy into the change? You know, is the question. How do we pull our resources? For example, you guys might not know, but the Department of Labor has invested almost $34 million in this city just for youth. Yet we don't know too much about it. So how do our kids go there? Right down here on Mount Ethan Avenue to the one stop. The thing that scares our kids is that they have to take a TABE assessment. Once they take a TABE assessment, the Department of Labor will pay up to $4,000 for any type of training they want. Now, what we do is try to get our kids trained in an industry recognized that's in high demand. Once you do that, then they're marketable. Then they can be employed. And in the meantime, we give them incentives. So kids, it's a different breed today. They live in a microwave. They want it right now. What we try to do is show them to slow down just a little, you know, and it'll come to you. However, my motto with them is things for things. You want something, you have to get something else. I think most of our kids live in a sense of entitlement. And a lot of us in this audience are guilty of doing that, and they were that entitlement. You know, our kids are so used to the word yes, but have a real challenge when you say no. And we try to get them to understand no. When I say no, it's no. It's no. As men, as black men, the first thing we teach them is about being a man. Most of them don't have a clue to what it is. I'm still learning how to be a man. You know, so we take them through some things, and I know Malcolm talked about ethics. We teach social ethics. We give them case management. We give them what is called educational intervention. We're at the schools all the time checking on attendance. And if they're having these issues, we find out what they are. We just don't say, oh, well, you just don't want to go to school. Sometimes our kids cannot deal with traditional school. So then it's up to us to find an alternative learning venue for them. And we do that. What I would like to do, what I propose that for this particular body, and I know Malcolm, you started talking about committees, I think we need to start setting up certain type of committees to meet every Monday, what it is? Monday. I'm also offering our facility whenever this is not convenient, or even when you guys come up with an idea and you want to do something with the kids, but you need a venue. You know, we're located at 1812 Federal Street. All you have to do, and I'll make sure that I have some pamphlets in the back, if you come up with an idea and it has some measurable outcomes, then we'll do it. That's specifically what I'm about. You know, and by the way, through that education, I started out not knowing how to read and write. I have 2 master's degrees today. I didn't stop our kids, you know, when people tell me you can't do this, you're not going to do this because of that. I don't teach that. I don't teach that to them. They can be whoever they want to be. They just got to put the footwork in. And that's what we teach. My first name as well as, I'll make sure you have my card, brother. But again, I'm offering my facilities. You got an idea, let's cultivate it, let's marinate on it, and let's make it happen. I'm about solutions. I don't want to hear about beating the problem up. We know what the problem is. We know what the problem is. Come up with a solution. I got you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right now, I give you a chance to go.
Hello everybody, my name is Cherie Bookman. I am currently a Camden resident, been a Camden resident all my life. Currently I am in grad school at the University of Pennsylvania studying education. So that's what I really came up here to speak about. I really feel that education is an extremely important aspect, and we are not forcing, or we are not putting that on our children. We send our kids to school and say, okay, you're responsible for them for the 8 hours. That's number one. They're in school for 8 hours, so half of their day is already in school. And the problem is, in school, we don't have people to identify with our kids. You got people coming from down the highway, no disrespect or anything like that, but you got people coming from down the highway. You got people that's coming to the school that don't even care, they're just there to get a paycheck. And the kids, I mean, if you let them do what they want, then they're going to do what they want. I'm not a certified teacher. I am a substitute, and I'm currently subbing at Davis. But I mean, it was kids running in the hallway, turning the light on and off, and the teacher was just literally sitting there staring at him. And I'm like, this is not even my home school. I'm a sub. And the minute I said something to him, he stopped. And he's like, oh, I want to get suspended. It's things like this where teachers and educators listen to it, but they don't take action into it. And that's why the students don't take their education seriously. Education is key. It doesn't matter. And I'm a firm believer in that everybody can go to college. College is not for me. College is for everybody. It's for anybody. Anybody can do it. So I just feel like it's really important that we put an emphasis on education and stop allowing kids to make their choices. There's no such thing as being hard-headed at 12. It's my rules. I'm not a mom, but it's my rules, and that's it. There's nothing else after that. So we really need to put an emphasis on our education, make sure our students are actually learning something in school, and that they're being taken seriously, and that you can identify. There shouldn't be teachers in the classroom like, okay, well, stop doing this. No, if you're from Camden and they know you're from Camden, stop doing that, because you know I know your mom. They love stuff like that. They love knowing that people can relate to them. And the minute that they have those people relating to them, I promise you, they will get so engaged. It's not even a joke. I'm walking in the school, like, hi, Miss Bookman. I don't know these kids from a can of spray paint. This is my first week there. Oh, we love her class. She a nice substitute. Because I keep it real with them. When I go in there, my name is Miss Bookman. I'm from Camden. I don't play no games. You don't disrespect me. I don't disrespect you. That's it. And the period goes smooth. That's the problem. We have people here that don't know what they're doing. They can't identify. How you going to try to teach somebody to be better when you don't even know their background? You don't even know where they come from. You got to have people that's really, that can really identify with them. And as parents, we really have to make sure that in school, the kids are learning something, that they're not just sitting there playing on their phones and things like that. Parents should be making frequent visits to their students' classroom. It's nothing against going in the classroom and watching your student inside of the classroom. Just because the teachers are responsible for them during those hours, as a parent and as the community, we are still responsible for our kids, for taking their education seriously and leading them on the future path. You want to be a rapper? Okay. J. Cole went to school in New York. He has tell him, J. Cole has the first album in 25 years that went platinum with no features. That's a rapper, and he went to, I believe he went to NYU. John, I don't know, he went to some school, but he still got his education. So it's not like, oh, you want to be a rapper, you can't go to school. Ask them. If there's so much of rap fans, they'll know Lil Wayne, all of them went to school. So education is really a key part, and I think it's really something that we really need to put an emphasis on, that we really need to take seriously before our school system is corrupted.
Okay, I seen you put your hand in this one. On the agenda sheet, we do have actions that need to be taken. Set up a committee, a letter writing campaign, rallies and fundraisers for the youth. I know personally that they don't want nothing for the youth anymore as far as parties go. I'm surprised they let you do that party, and I'm glad that you had a great success at that. Because of the situation that happened last year, and if you want me to hold the baby, I'll let you come up and you can speak for a couple of minutes. Hold the baby. And she was here this morning, and I'd like to thank her for coming up.
Some of y'all that know, my son was the young man that was killed on Easter of this year. I mean, I'm not an expert. I don't have a PhD. I haven't been to college for all these years, but what I do know is all the moms that came in are not bad moms. I'm tired of people trashing the moms when stuff happens to these kids. I raised 4 boys by myself in Camden, and it's, you know, it really pissed me off and made me really want to do something when this young lady whose son just was murdered, everybody starts attacking her. Where was she? Why was he outside? You know, why was she letting him be in the game? We all know, we've all been young before, and we've all snuck and done something. You know, maybe it wasn't being in the game, but we snuck in one of our boyfriend's house, or we snuck and went to a party, or we snuck back out when we were supposed to be in the house. So, first thing I really need is for everybody to stop pointing a finger, and why don't we all try to do something to make sure this don't happen again. And, you know, it's a shame that it took for a 13-year-old child to lose his life for everybody to want to wake up and do something. Why? You know, what's the difference between this 13-year-old and a 30-year-old? A life is a life. Each one was still somebody's child. You know what I mean? It shouldn't matter. And it's sad because, you know, I feel as though our biggest problem is we don't bring each other up. You know, we always finger pointing and backstabbing and talking and gossiping and, you know, instead of uplifting each other. And it's horrible because I remember growing up, it wasn't that way. I was born and raised in Camden. You couldn't go to any other part of town without somebody knowing somebody in your family. And it's still that way. These kids that are killing each other, we grew up with their parents. So how do you think it feels? Me going in this courtroom for my son's murder case, and I know these people, where they have people, babies by family members. And I gotta sit there and look at them. They can't even look me in my face. But my beef is not with you. You didn't pull the trigger. You know what I mean? People don't hold their kids accountable. These kids know what they're doing. Maybe not the baby that was 13, because they're grabbing these kids when they're 10. The one weakness that most of these young men have in their life is a male figure. My son, many a day, said that to me. And I told him, I said, Ty, I can be everything for you, but I can't be a man. I can't. It's just not, you know, the way it's designed. You know, he lost his dad when he was 10. He lost his older brother when he was 15. My son had enough sorrow in his life for him to have to lose his life like that. And over nothing. Over nothing. Could have easily been avoided. But because some other people don't care nothing about their life, or they don't get any love at home, they feel as though it's okay to go around taking other people's lives. But like I told them in the beginning, y'all got the right one this time. Because I'm gonna fight for mine. Just like I know my son will fight for me if he was here, if the roles were reversed. We as parents, we gotta be nosy as hell. And I was a strict mom, don't get it twisted. I worked all the time, I worked 2 jobs. But I still was up my kids' ass. But when it ain't enough, it ain't enough. Kids maneuver, they find a way. There's parents out here that know their kids in these gangs and they think it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay at all. But if the parents is co-signing it, they're gonna keep on doing it. Who hangs out with their son? Who let their sons bring guns in their house? How is that all right? This young man ain't got no permit. They don't even know how to shoot. My son got shot and killed, and he also shot 2 girls. All them kids at that party is scarred for life. Parents ain't want to get them counseling. Everybody has too much pride. We gotta learn to humble ourselves. It's for no reason. No reason that these kids dying left and right. They had the scroll at the church downtown when they did the remembrance for all the 2015 victims. It was so horrible. That like over half of them were in the gangs. Over half. Like how many people really, before this shit popped off, how many of y'all even knew about these gangs? They keep it a secret. It's swept under the rug. But this has been ongoing for quite some time. It's just now hitting light because of all these murders. And it's all these murders because these kids running wild. Once they get a taste of a little bit of, you know, a little bit of craziness, they're gonna keep running with it. Nobody wants to say nothing. That's another problem. People complaining, they're not solving these murders. Well, we all know the streets talk first, and nobody ever wants to say nothing until it's their child. Every piece of information I got, y'all can call me a snitch, you call me what you want. Everything I got, it went straight to them. Because I want them to get these kids off street before they somebody else's child. Like I said today, like this morning, it was about 15 of us at that meeting. Everybody on work. That's part of the problem. People sit home and don't do nothing all day. All day. Why they couldn't get up and come down here? There was no reason. None. But then they always complaining. Bitching and complaining, they're the main ones. Don't complain if you're not going to step up and do something. And I call people out. I don't care. You can feel how you want to feel. But then when it's your child or your niece or nephew, because it's girls too. They snatching these girls up. It's just as many girls in these gangs as it is boys. People are in denial. They really in denial. They need to wake up. And hopefully, and I'm sorry it took this, but hopefully this is you know, the wake-up call that everybody needed. Because something got to change. I'm not losing more of my kids to these streets. I didn't want to lose one, but God knows best, and that's what gets me up every day. It gets me to keep pushing. And my grandson, which is my son's son, I'm going to make sure he ain't got to live through this no more. And it's enough of us just here now that can make a difference. If one of us change one person's mind every day, if one of us can keep one more kid from going on these corners, it only take one. It don't take a whole group, one at a time. Slow progress is better than no progress. Like, I'm still hurting. I look at myself every day, and my son looks just like me. Every time I look in the mirror, every time I look at his son, it's for what? But I told my son, as he was laying there taking his last breath, I promise you, if it takes to the last breath in me, I'm going to get justice for you. And I'm going to do something in your honor and make sure this don't happen again. And I just hope everybody in here is serious and not just here just to be here. Even if you don't live in Camden, you got family in Camden. You know what I mean? You got friends in Camden. The next child could be any one of their kids. It don't even need to be the next child. And we need to strike now while these kids is fresh in their mind and they feeling some type of way about it. That's all I got to say.
In the community, we have one person. You ever go somewhere and it's like a whole bunch of, excuse me, and like I said before I started, if I offend anybody, and Lord forgive me for it. You ever see that one person and it's like the whole room is full of African American people, black people. And then you got that one person that just shows up and everything changes because she's so polite and just. I think Miss April is that token, I want to say black person, but she's the Bill Clinton to Camden. She's at everything, every event, taking pictures, writing stories, and making sure that everybody knows what's going on. For your contribution to the city of Camden, I thank you so much. You said you wanted to say a few words, and all right. I'll let Miss April speak, and then we'll continue to go on with what's going on.
Okay, so I spent the last 3 days with, oh, well, you just introduced me. Okay, I'm the Spirit Invincible, whatever that means. No, I have a Facebook page, Camden, New Jersey, a Spirit Invincible. I left the Inquirer where I was working for like a million years and came here. I got some grants to cover Camden, and I'm just in Camden now all the time, doing stories, sometimes for the Courier. My Facebook page, it kind of blew up with this last murder. So, I mean, I feel like it's actually, in a way, I'm kind of newspapering on social media right now. I spent the last 3 days with Taisha Mercado because I'm writing a story, a big story about Nate. And I posted a few days ago because I was like Tracy. I was really upset that everybody was sort of like, what's wrong with this woman? And she let her kids, you know, run around and, you know, that whole thing. And I feel like that kind of finger pointing is what people do to Camden. So it really bothers me when people in Camden do that to each other, because that's what the outside world is always doing to you guys. I should say you guys. I think I'm moving to Camden soon. But you know, I hate the media narratives about this city. It's either a war zone or oh, wow, it's great. Everything's fine now. There's businesses coming. So anyway, I wanted to play for you a tape recording that I made. It's only like about 1.5 minutes, and it may make you feel something. And it's what Taisha said on Saturday. Hang on. She was talking about him being a blood and how she felt about that. And this recording is probably going to go on the Courier Post website with my story about the family.
That says 600.
You don't want it.
I don't want it. I'm putting the sheet up. You sign your name, and that's it. You better not put anything involving any gang activity, any slang, any 600, no OTF, none of that on my son's sheet. Do you understand me? If you can't refrain from doing it, don't come. If you come to his funeral, no red is allowed at all. If you have any red on, you will be stopped at the door and turned around. No airbrush shirts are allowed at my son's funeral. If you have one on, you will be turned around. You can wear an airbrush shirt to the repast, but no red is allowed in that shirt. Do you guys understand me? Yes, Mother. And I mean it. I mean it. Because the senseless gang activity is what took my baby. I don't want it. I don't want it.
Anyway, so I've been trying to do a story for a long time about gang stuff in Camden, and it's very, very hard to get people to talk, even though everybody knows, and I know, and I haven't like ever put anything out there identifying a kid, especially a kid who was killed, as having been a gang member. I think it would be like really cruel. But I am actually working on a story right now. I've been doing it for a few months, and I feel like with her coming out, like this is a time that this community can maybe have this conversation that to me is so long overdue for people to really talk about what this does to the kids. You'll see, because I wrote a whole huge story. She was a really good mom. She tried everything. So there's that. So if anybody wants to get in contact with me, I'm still working on that story. The other thing I want to say is a few months ago, Tawanda Jones, Monique Ragsdale, and I started something called Camden One Love, which a lot like what you guys are doing now. I mean, our first meeting was pretty good. We had a lot of people. Now we have like maybe like about 8 people that we can really count on. We're doing, we got Centerville kids and Parkside kids who would normally kind of want to kill each other to agree to a boxing tournament. And right now we're lining that up. We're going to try to do a program in the schools. You know, I mean, the more organizations, the better. This sounds a lot like what we're trying to do, and I'll be a part of all of them. You know, there can never be enough help. But if anybody wants to contact us, that'd be great too. We would love the help because we're already trying to do a few things. Thank you.
I thank you, Miss April, for that. I had to get myself together. I almost cried there. Hold on, Gary. She has to leave, and then I'm gonna come to you, and then Ivan, and then Gary, and then we'll keep on going. So Tracy Hall.
Good evening. I just have a tad bit of information I received on Saturday. Apparently it's not being disseminated throughout the city. First and foremost, I did not lose my child to street violence, but I lost my child to violence. I buried my child. My child was an athlete, honor student, college graduate. I lost my child. So I feel when any mother has to bury their child, because I've been there. My family is still suffering, and it's been 3.5 years. We're still suffering from it. I started a foundation real quick. I deal with suicide awareness and prevention, but I have connections to the mental illness field. So if anyone knows anybody, we're quick to say for these moms to get their kids, but if these moms can't even get themselves, how are they going to get these kids? We are suffering from depression. We are suffering from anxiety. We are suffering from all the things that we never want to talk about, but it's real. You know what I mean? It exists in my family, and it tore my family to shreds. So Saturday, after this stuff hit with Taisha, I'm really familiar with their family, really close with them. It got me, again, with the flame to want to, once again, like I've always done, want to save the kids in Camden. Anybody will tell you, I'm still at Camden High every day. I don't have a kid that go to school there. My baby's about to graduate from college. I'm still in the city. I work in this, well, I don't work in the city anymore. I'm no longer a police officer, but I'm still around or whatever. So I met at the Centerville Library with some key people to try to come up with a plan to get parents the resources through social services that they may need to get their kids help, to get out these gangs, get off the street, to get training, to get all these other things. Well, in the midst of us, myself, Johnny Royal, and soon-to-be Assemblyman Arthur Barkley, during us talking, we were going to meet up with other people to get just what you guys are doing right now. But again, I seen the call to come to the Buff, and you guys are already ahead of the game. But in spite of that, I talked to a girl named Yolanda Gaithers from the Youth-Based Services, which is based out of Camden High, and they're also based out of Woodrow Wilson. There is a thing called Project Guardian that's already in play. I was not aware of it. Saturday was my first time hearing about it, and I'm quite sure a few other people didn't know. Apparently, DCP&P, Center for Family Services, not the Cure for Camden portion of it, but another Center for Family Service, Metro Police Department, some federal agency, they all have this, what we used to call a multi-agency lifeline. And to my understanding from a very close family friend, Taisha McCarter was told when she went to Camden Metro that she needed help for her son that was in a gang. She was told, we can't help you. We don't have nothing for you. Now, to my knowledge, on Saturday, apparently they do. And this woman was sent away, and now she has to bury her baby. We need to open lines of communication, make sure parents are aware of the resources that are out here to help them. There are stuff out here, but we have to get the information disseminated through the community because they believe no one is here to help them. There's funding here, there's things going on here, and none of these parents are aware of it. And again, like Ms. Bookman said, is mainly a lot of the things are disseminated through school. But if you don't visit your child's school, you ain't gonna get the information. You know, my thing is this, I'm gonna tell y'all this, and not to just let this go where it goes. I was, before I left the Camden Police Department, had 5 certifications in gang awareness. They have been training me since 1999 to start a gang unit that never developed. In 2007, we were told there are no gangs in Camden, let it go. Okay, so I would tell you this, it's people that know how to get what they need to get this stuff done. But what I'm saying is, they are these agencies that are already in play, and whoever y'all spearhead for this committee need to get with them people so y'all can have information for these agencies that are putting this money into these programs that nobody is succeeding with. Apparently, they've had 3 meetings. They took groups of kids on a bus to Antioch Church, separated them, and they also have resources. If a child says that they want to get out of a gang and they fear for their life, they have resources to relocate them. Because from what I'm understanding Saturday, a young man was relocated out the state, and his mother don't even know where he's at because he wanted out the gang, and he's in school somewhere, living somewhere, doing something. So there's resources out here. But we, including myself, I have to make sure I have the information that you guys need. So when you come to me or you inbox me or you're on my Daylight Foundation page, I'll be able to give you the information that you need. So, because education and knowledge is the key to survival. I don't care what anybody say. If we don't know no better, we won't do no better. So I'm not one, I don't point fingers because I know, like I said on my page, I'm not part of the problem, but I darn sure want to be part of the solution because I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. So as soon as much more information I can get on Project Guardian, I will give it to you or Waze, whoever wants it. But like I told someone, I'm going to try to gather as much information from this meeting so they'll know what you guys want, what you guys expect, and what you guys need. Because if they don't know what y'all want, expect, and need, they're not going to be able to help you guys. So God bless you all. And my heart goes out to anybody that has to bury a child because I've been there. My door is open. I live on Dayton Street. I have a foundation. Daylight Foundation is my Facebook page. I try to put up inspirational stuff to help you through your day, whatever works. But you need me, I'm a phone call away. Again, my name is Tracy Cooper, but everybody knows me as Tracy Hall.
Tracy Hall. Okay, I know I said you were next. Bear with me. I got somebody that don't really speak, but he's willing to speak. So if you want to come up and get this off your chest, I'm going to let this young man speak.
How y'all doing? My name is Hamid Anderson. I'm CEO of Millionaire Entertainment. I can rap to y'all, but I ain't a good speaker. But listen, it's a good thing all y'all here, and Tracy, you just don't know I always think about you. She ain't lose 1 son, she lost 2 sons. So she's strong. One of her sons drowned. So I always think about her a lot. But the issue is with the youth. Like, you got this guy, Rashawn Hornsby, my man G Hove, Cornell. They been fighting for the city for positivity cakes. Now I don't want to single nobody out, but Marv, I see you came here. Dudes like you. We need more of y'all dudes here, like the streets. There's no street dude here. What's your name again? Was running for mayor? I forgot. What's your name? Amir Khan. No disrespect is to everybody. You could come up here and talk, right, and speak, and like the guy with the dreadlocks that spoke, and the lady from Williamstown. Y'all could come up here and speak to y'all face blue. The kids don't want to hear y'all. Y'all speaking like for nothing. They can't identify you. You know, like you can say all the positivity stuff you want. The little kids don't want to hear from you. I'm losing my G card in the street. A couple more years, they not going to want to listen to me. I'm only relevant because I'm putting the hip hop and the negativity into their face. You know, so we need more street guys that they looking up to. You can sit up here and tell the kids don't sell drugs, don't do this. Like the lady said, there's a lot of jobs here. You could bring some little kids here right now, youth, and tell them, look, this side right here, we're going to pay you $1,000 a week to come to work to sit on your ass all day. Then I could take another group and put them over here and say, we're going to pay you $800 a week to stand on the corner and sell drugs. What you think they're going to do? They ain't going to sit on their ass to make $1,000. They'd rather make the $800 to stand on the corner because it's cool to them. It's cool. So when you got young street dudes that's telling them that's corny and this corny, it's never going to work until the streets come. Marv, the streets is us. They looking up to the street people. They not listening to the Americans because you talking positivity. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear what the negativity is doing, you know, and the gang stuff. There's a lot of the dads in the city, y'all supporting y'all kids in this gang stuff. Y'all know that kids in the gang because a lot of the youth want to live up to their dad. Oh, my dad was the big homie, so I got to do this. They ain't got to do this. Like Cake say, Nate's son was pruny, but he walked around like his dad. You know, and God forbid, like my son will end up like that. I'm not going to let my son end up like that. I'll kill him myself from beating him before somebody in the streets kill him. You know, so like it's serious out here. So it take more of the streets to take over the streets. Like American, y'all doing a good job, and I'm proud of y'all. But with y'all and with the street people, that's the only way it's going to work. Because these kids is never going to stop until we start going at the big homies. We got to go at them like, what's going on? If not, either we got to get rid of them, and you know it's hard to say. I'm not in the streets no more. I don't sell drugs. Like I just told Cakes, either the people that's doing it, it's like basically you got to kill them or rat on them. What you want? You got to rat or kill. It's never going to stop. There's no way you could talk to the people like, yo, y'all got to stop that. These kids is not trying to hear it, man. These young boys, 15, 16, they ain't trying to hear it. And like we got to attack now while we still got a little street credibility, Marv. You got kids out here. I don't even know. I see some of your kids on Facebook. They like 19, 18, if I was to bump into them and they could try to harm me, I will harm them because I don't know who they are. We got to start now making ourselves familiar with each other kids and stuff. You know, we grown now. We ain't kids no more, so that's all I got to say. But we got to start in the streets. The jobs, yeah, they need jobs, but like I said, the kids rather sell drugs than get free money, I'm telling you. That's how it is. So until that change and we take action in the streets and go after people, it's never going to change, man. And like in the city, we ain't allowed to, I'm gonna get off now. We ain't allowed to stand on the corner in the city. You know, we ain't allowed. This ain't no black and white thing. I noticed you when I first came here, but when I get off 676 every day, it's white people panhandling on the corner, and they allow that. They allow them to stand, and to keep it real, they sell drugs. The white people that act like they collect the money off 676, they're not collecting money. They sell drugs. I see it myself. We can't do that though. They sell at 676. When you get off the highway, just ride past there, Tracy, and chill. Some of them collecting change. The rest of them passing off drugs. I see them. They're hopping in the car. They selling drugs. The cops allow that. But I can't even stand on Hatton Avenue where I used to sell drugs at and chill. I'm gonna get harassed. I can't do that. But they allow them to stand on the highway and sell drugs. So it is a problem with the city. We all got to start complaining about that. Like until then, look. Anybody could just give up. I ain't giving up. I'm here for the city. My son's 10, my daughter's 13. They always affected by NEAT. So, you know, it is what it is.
All right, thank you, Hameen. Young lady, I don't know your name, but please come.
Hello, my name's Leah. My background is Child Protective Services, and I heard a lot of people get up here and say it's about reaching the kids, it's about reaching the kids. It's also about reaching the parents. Let me tell you, I've been in these people's houses, and it's crazy because the people that need to be talked to, they're not the people who are sitting here. And it's about reaching the heart of people. You go in these people's house, they live in foul. People, you be like, people living like this, they living like that. And it's about reaching parents, and it's crazy because actually Tracy's post on Facebook, I had called John and I said, John, I don't want to come across as insensitive, because I went to the young man's Facebook page and I said, how does a 13-year-old get taken over in that way? And then I found myself looking at myself and saying, you know what, that's not fair. I saw all the bickering about, you know, blaming mom and all that, and I said, that's not fair to her. What about her village? Where was her village? Maybe she had to work 2 jobs. Where was her village? And, you know, we're a part of her village, so we all let her down, to be quite technical. And we got depression, we got mental health. Mental health has affected me in a crazy way in my life, and yeah, we got to do something. We got to, I don't know, and it starts with the kids, and maybe if we can reach the kids through education to the parents, coordinate with the Board of Social Services. In order to get your check, you got to be at your kid's school. Once you at your kid's school, let's because the point of this. The point is the politics in the city ain't going nowhere. At this point, it is what it is, and we got to work with them to get what we need, because only we could save ourselves. We got to put our egos on the back burner. I've been to these meetings. I ain't going to hold you. I've hosted meetings at my house. I've dealt with some of the so-called political people, all that kind of stuff, and it's crazy because everything's an ego. Well, I don't want to work with this person because they off that. Then next week, when you off that, I see you working with this person because you on that. Like, it's crazy to me, and we got to put all that away. We got to put it to the side. It takes a village, and the parents need to be held accountable. And I'm not saying it's their fault, because I know anybody's kid can get taken, because just like I saw that kid, I clicked on his friends list, and there was another kid, and I clicked on their friends list, and there was another kid, and even one of my personal friends. I've been trying to tell her, you know, talk to your kid, because I see some suspect stuff on his page. And she like, I talked to my kid, but did you pay attention to your kid? It's all about paying attention. So I don't know what else to say, but that's it.
So her name is Leah. Okay, Ivan, if you want to come up. And then Gary, and then a young lady right there, and then.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ivan Mercado. I am a Camden resident, born and raised in Camden. I'm currently an educator. I teach 9th grade. I was teaching at one of the charter schools, but for some philosophical reasons and being from where I'm from, I couldn't do it anymore. So I decided to end that part of my life. I'm coming to speak to you because I work with students 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. And while I might not be that street person, they listen to me. And it's all in your approach. It's all in how you speak to them. It's all in not bullshitting and being 100% with them and being real with them and speaking to them and meeting them where they are. There are a lot of students who have even come to me and told me, hey, yeah, I'm in a gang. And the way that I'm not going to approach it and respond like, oh, well, yeah, that's such a bad thing and things of that sort. No, I'm not going to approach it like that. My number one question is, what's your problem? For what? These kids are in search of brotherhood. These kids are in search of someone who they can look up to and who they can emulate. And the only people that are giving them the time to allow them to emulate them are the people who are running these gangs. Yeah, you can emulate me. Come copy after me. Come do what I'm doing. And if those are the only people reaching out and reaching to our kids, then that's what our kids are going to become. And that's who they're going to be. Listening to everybody come up here and say different things, I'm realizing that the major problem in this city is the lack of unity amongst the leaders in this city. That's the major problem here. There's a lack of unity. Everybody has their own agenda. Everybody has their own thing that they want to do. Everybody wants to put their name on this and wants to do this, and I want you to know that I did this. That's the problem here. Nobody's concerned with our kids and with actually fixing the issues that are happening in this city. There's a shift. A necessary shift that needs to happen in the minds of these young men. That's the only way we're going to be able to fix this. There's a shift, a mind shift. Over time, they've been conditioned to think that they are nothing. They've been conditioned to think that they're less than. They've been conditioned to think that Camden is a cesspool. But if we allow our kids to see the beauty that is in this city, the culture that is in this city, how many educated people we have here, how many people that don't have educations but are wise beyond anything and beyond any recollection. When we begin to look into those things and to really look into those, that there's something that is associated with the struggle in Camden. So when you leave here, you're prepared for things that people in the suburbs are not prepared for. And when you share that with our kids and when you tell them that, hey, yo, you receive an education that those people in the suburbs can't pay for, you receive an education that's going to prepare you not for just the academic stuff, but for life. And that's what's going to set you apart from everybody else. So when I went away to school, I wasn't successful because I got the best education in Camden City Public Schools. No, I was successful because of the education that I got outside of school. I was successful because of what the streets taught me and because of what people told me, the older people, and what they told me and what they shared with me. And I knew in my mind that I didn't want to live that life. However, the same strength that is associated with being out there in that corner and the same things that you get that are associated with living that street life, you can take with you and you can make it into something beautiful. And that's what we need to share with our boys, and that's what we need to perpetuate with our boys. So right now, my goal is to, with everybody, I don't want to have my name on the top of it or anything like that. This is not going to be my mentoring anything. We as a city, all of these organizations need to come together, and we need to put something together as a whole and show these kids that we are serious because we're working together to solve these problems and to handle what needs to be handled in this city. But that's it. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. McCall. I appreciate that. Also, this young man is willing to volunteer to tutor children in the city in English and anything that you need done as far as education. He's willing to donate his time. Yeah, he's willing to donate his time to help the kids. If you have a child who's having problems reading and writing, and I would, try to get in touch with him to do it. I promised Gary that he was going to go next, so I'm going to give Gary, you got 4 minutes, because I know you could be real long-winded. So, yeah, solution-based groups. So Gary has some information. He also has some papers that if you guys want to grab on the way out, or if he could pass them around, however he want to do it.
So I only bought enough for 25 people, but for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Gary Frazier. I'm a community activist here in the city of Camden. I'm here basically because I want to share some stuff with you guys, but my video that I had posted online actually went viral, and I was interviewed today by Fox 29 News in regards to the violence in our city along with Rashawn Hornsby. That was why I was unable to make the meeting this morning, because there were other things that were being done. So I want a chance to, first, as these papers are coming around, the most important thing that I'm looking at right now is the last 4 years of the crime rate in Camden, namely the murder rate in Camden. If you guys take a look at that, it's very sad, because these numbers represent families that we know in the city that are no longer here, and I think that's key in trying to help us identify exactly the source of the problem that we're facing with the youth. And I knew earlier that we talked about, the lack of presence here of the youth. But I think first and foremost, we need to go over a few things. I'm no longer going to be coming to any meetings in 2016, whereas though I myself are not going to be offering up a solution base. I'm not coming to meetings just to sit down and talk about the meeting before the meeting, before the meeting, before the meeting, before the meeting. I'm coming prepared for actions to be carried out. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about, and what I thought would help us, part of my solution, was how to stop the violence in Camden and save our youth. So the number one thing that I asked for, that I think in helping us do it, is we need to be able to identify the source of the problem that the children are having. We don't know what's going on with them. How can we help them, right? Number two, I said that we need to establish youth representatives to be mediators for the youth in Camden, to help identify what the youth are asking for or what they would like to see in their communities. Our target areas are 13 to 18 years of age. That number could also drop as low as to 10 and up. The number three part, I thought that we could develop a strategy to implement safe corridors across the city. For those of you who don't know what safe corridors are, and let me while I am up here, familiarize you guys with this stuff. Ms. Perry, where are you? Oh, Ms. Perry is right there. Ms. Perry is the manager of Family Solutions to the Camden City School District. And part of what I have been doing along with this district, I know you guys see me all the time fighting against this district, you know, for things that directly and indirectly affect us as a people. But one of the things that I challenged myself in 2016 to do was to begin the process of negotiating with this district to get things done for our people. So one of the things that I was able to do was to begin the process of getting the Safe Corridors program implemented, because it's an 8-corridor part in our city, where it's supposed to ensure the safety of our children to and from school. Now, this will be the help of you as the parents who are home. A lot of you are home during the day. So your children are being sent off to school. You're sending your children off to school. So how about we can form a group of parents that can help ensure that safety, especially in the areas that we know where the fighting and the violence is transpiring. So that's what Safe Corridors would entail. The number 4 thing that I would offer up as a solution base for us would be to set a date with all local leaders, faith-based students, and youth representatives, including the current administration. That would include our mayor and all those of city council, the Camden County's Police Department, who are also part of this initiative in pushing the Safe Corridors program to broaden the scope on, you know, ensuring the safety of our children. And part of me doing that video was to begin the process of coming for the men, because we need men. We need men. The women I've been out here, and it's been the women that have been alongside of me fighting for us. It's not been a lot of men. And so that challenge for that video was to begin the process of doing that. I didn't know the video was going to go viral, but when it did go viral and they did come and visit myself and Rashawn today to do the interview, the sentiment was to get it back out and to push it, accountability back into the administration's hands. And that is to have the administration understand how intricate of a role that they play in this process of helping us as a people to be a part of the solution. You know, as I spoke in the video, I talked about how, you know, the redevelopment was going on in Canada, but nothing was geared towards our people. But that's what those who are in the administration, that is the role of them as the chosen leaders for us here in the city of Camden. And a lot of it is because we're not voting. So, you know, we get what we ask for. But one thing we are not going to do is to continue the process of, you know, hooting and hollering for things that should be afforded to us if we were in the numbers to get them done. Because that's what they listen to, the numbers. If it was a mass majority of us, that's like we came together, just like when the faith base came together to go pray, when they hosted a meeting this morning, when they had it, when they hosted again tonight, if we took this same concept to these council meetings, to these school board meetings, to any type of meetings that's involving us as a people, the outcome would be different. The outcome would be different. But when you got a group of people that's 5, 10, 15 of us, you know, it's not really resonating to them the way that it should be. So that was the purpose of it. And I want you guys to take away from you tonight when you go back home. Yes, I'm glad to see we have a meeting where Eagles were completely checked at the door, when we're really getting to the core of the problem. The only thing that I would offer up as we move forward is that we do exactly what Brother Malcolm said and others that came to speak before myself, that we must engage with those who are out on the corners. That means even if it has to have a conversation where we have to bring those youth in here, because we can't move forward without knowing what it is our youth want. Why are they so angry? Why are they coming out of the school angrier than they are as they're going to the school? And what are we doing to ensure that we are being a part of their education? When we used to go to school, we didn't have these problems. When the lights came on outside, your ass was home. You were home, and if you weren't on the step, Miss Easterlin was beating your ass, Mr. Hornsby was beating your ass, Mr. Byrd was beating your ass, and then your mom and your dad beat your ass, all right? But you listen. So we got to get back to the things that work for us. There's a number of programs that were taken away from us in the community that we can reinvent the wheel on those programs, but it takes a process and it takes the help of all of us in here. Obviously, all of you that are here tonight, obviously give a damn about what's going on. That's why you're here. So we would like to take this on a bigger scale. Yes, this is the first of many meetings that I'm sure that will come, but in the arms of this thing and trying to get it structured properly to get those on board that we need, you must bring in key folks. And that was one of the reasons why Ms. Perry was asked to come here tonight, because she is part of this Safe Corridors thing that we are trying to launch and get the community to get aboard on it. So I ask you guys to take this information with you, and I will be back with Ms. Perry to be able to deliver more on this, because we're going to ask for key leaders from the community to go and sit in a different type of setting meeting so that we can begin to unveil this for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. I appreciate that. Now I believe this gentleman, and then you, and then John, and then we'll keep on going. I'm trying to stop at 9 o'clock, but I want to give everybody a chance to speak. So if you want to speak, please raise your hand now. This way I can know. You're coming up next. This way I can go in order. So it's you, after him, and then this young lady, and John. And then if anybody else want to speak, please raise your hand now so I can keep mentally if you want to speak. Wawa, would you like to speak after? Not now, because I know you just came in. Yeah. We're going to allow this gentleman, then Angie, we're going to keep on going. Just give me a couple seconds, and then you could come. She come after. Let me mind my business. All right. Come on, sir. You sure? You want to go now, or you? Come on.
Hi, my name is Dwayne Williams. I'm here, a Camden city resident. Been here a long time, been involved in a lot of things. I just want to say real quick a couple of things. Violence is not new to the city of Camden or any urban community across the United States of America. The question you need to be asking yourself is, why is the same thing happening to the same people at this very same time all over America? It's a bleak landscape. I have my suspicions. I'll share that later. But let me just say this. I am a firm believer. Earlier this year, we organized, again, the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March, where we went off to Washington, D.C., again, to talk about justice. And one of the things that I kept pressing upon the local organization, the Camden local organization, was this. And I press this upon every organization that's in existence, those who want to start. It's very difficult to really do anything without resources. So, having been slammed because I did this at a meeting, and I'm going to do it tonight, the first thing we need to do is we need to commit to some resources. And those resources, at this juncture right here, Malcolm, is dollars. So I'm going to throw out on the floor real quick, because I can't do the last one because I got told don't do that no more. I went too high. So here it is. It's $100. I make a $100 commitment. Do I have anybody who match me? Can I get a match? I got 200, 300. Can I get a match? Got 400, got 500, 600. And that's how we work to develop the resources that are necessary to kick organizations off the ground. Because let me say something. Regardless of whether or not if someone's letting you use this place, these lights, this heat, getting out papers, all of this stuff costs money. And we have to be committed to reaching in our pockets and putting money together. So as I attend these meetings, as I did with the local LOC, is every one of those meetings, you understand, we got to talk about raising money. Money, 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 because money speaks, and all that other stuff, you know what happens, it walks.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So I got, so far, a total of $600. Now, don't just hold on to it. I'll take it. I got to take it, make sure I put it in a pot, an envelope, and everything else when we finish before we leave. I believe this young lady wanted to speak. So, again, before she speaks, if you would like to speak, please raise your hand again. This way I can keep a count on who's next. I think you're next, then John, and Mr. Hornsby wants to speak. Brahim is after him.
Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Nazia Easterling. Some people know me as O'Brien. I have started a foundation called Saving Grace. It's been 5 years now. due to the fact that I'm a widow to the street crime. My husband was shot over 30 times on Broadway and Viola Street. 2 days before my husband was shot, he came to me and let me know that this is when the gangs were very prevalent downtown already. This was 212. He had put a group of the gangs out of the Legion. He was a bouncer in the Legion, and they told him that no matter how big you are, we can put enough heat in you to make sure that you never walk. And I told my husband, these kids don't have no conscience, don't play with them like that, this is my hood, it ain't gonna happen to me, yada yada. It was like a conversation that you never thought would be our last conversation, talking about the young people on the street. 2 days later, I went to pick my husband up from closing the Legion, and I had to go to Broadway, hearing bullets ringing out as I drove down 6th Street. And I said, Dad, where are they coming from? I wondered, you know, when I pull up for them to say, excuse me, is your name Miss Brown? Is this your husband on the ground? Does he smoke? Does he drink? Etc. My husband worked on machines for 9 days before he passed away. His name was JB. Some people call him Mook. Some people call him House. From that point on, I committed my life to planting seeds in these young people in Camden. From that point on, I made it my commitment to talk to these kids that were in the gangs. This is 212. This is not yesterday. And ever since that day, I've committed my life to do that. I've done that. But for 5 years, I had the foundation. In the foundation, I have 237 children whose parents was killed in the city of Camden. I have siblings, I have cousins that I'm subbing to my program. We do counseling every week, group therapy every month, tutoring 3 times a week at the library in Centerville. We do monthly events, quarterly meet and greets. Every year, we take them on big trips to learn the history, not only of Camden, but of their lives. The school system is not teaching them that they were kings and that they are queens, and they're not implanting the seed that we need to implant into our children. I take no clout. I don't ask people to recognize me. I don't put my name on anything. I say saving grace. When I send out cards, I say saving grace. Nothing says Nazia Easterlin, probably but my business card, just so that you would know who I am. I don't ask for that. But in the lives of these children, we sit and we meet and we talk about the gangs. Miss Nye, yes, I joined the gang. They give me $1,000 a week just to watch out. Can you replace that? Yes, I joined the gang because my dad just got 20 to life. He wasn't here anyway. You understand what I'm saying? This is where my clothes coming from, because my grandmom can afford to buy them for me. The mindset of some of their parents that are still left behind, they smoke with them, they drink with them. They even on Facebook, I'll fight for mine, whatever, meet us there. This is our mothers that are talking with the children. We have to change the mindset of the parents. We have mothers at 14, grandmoms at 30, great-grandmoms at 45. It's a whole different generation from when we was coming up. So the mindset, like Mr. Hornsby and I was talking about earlier, he said he had to change the mindset of the children. You also have to change the mindset of the parents. But what I do is aftermath. You have a lot of different organizations that's preventative. We sit in meetings over and over about gang prevention. I'm the aftermath. I'm the one that comes in to give the money for the funerals or the repasses and to sit down with them in counseling and talk to the kids about. I had one child in my program who watched his father shoot his mother in her head and then shoot himself. You want him to go to school and take these bull standardized tests and come out to be on top, when all he can think about is still visualize my dad who shot my mom and then shot himself. My mom lived through it, so guess what? I'm mad at her. What did you do to make my dad that mad to want to shoot you and then shoot himself? And now he not here and you get to live through it. And then he gives her hell. And then he joins the gang. And he's running through Branch Village at 3 o'clock in the morning. And mom's on her knees. And mom's calling me like, Miss Nye, he's back out the door again. And it's 3:30. And where Miss Nye? Putting her clothes on and go to Branch Village. At 3:30. My husband was like, you crazy. You can't be going out there. Listen, I don't have a spirit of fear because that's the God in me. So I get up and I put my clothes on. And I go out there and I get him from out the trees in Branch Village. Come on, we're going back in the house, and we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it, because this ain't how you're going to answer it. Even now, my girls are joining the gangs. Why? Because he tells me that I'm beautiful. He gives me what I need, Miss Nye. Okay, they will sit there, they will cry, they will open up. They want somebody to talk to. They don't want everybody to come to them and put them down and talk street. Sometimes they just want you to hug them and let them let go. Some of them are angry with their parents. So angry because my mom won't be a mom. She's my girlfriend, but she don't get it. My grandmom is old now. She don't get it. When we was coming up, we had praying grandmothers. We had praying mothers. Now we got smoking moms. They're not praying. I put a video on Facebook today. We have to begin to plant seeds and teach our children right here that they kings and queens and they were put here for a reason. Nate was not the youngest young man killed in the city of Camden. In Branch Village, we just had Martin that got killed that was 12. Nobody turned out like this for the 12-year-old. It shook us this time. What was the difference between the 12-year-old last year in Branch Village and the 13-year-old right now? What was the difference? What was the difference between that and 2012 when my husband's body was riddled with more holes than I can touch? What's the difference? Now it's the mindset, and that's what we got to attack. Moving. I am so tired of sitting in meetings. It's a meeting after meeting. Listen, we just did One Love. We still working hard. I slowed down because I just had a baby, but listen, soon as he was out, I was back in the street. It's like you sit in meetings and you sit in meetings and we write the solutions and the men disappear. And we have the women, we out there, they calling us 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, they getting shot any time of the night. Me and Caress and Watt, everybody. We on foot. Where's the men? You have the fathers that are sitting in a meeting just like this, that's still getting locked up every day, still under surveillance, still leaving these children. And the kids in my programs, children whose parents are dead already, they don't have a father that they can come to. You know how hard it is for me to get a mentor to mentor one? 200 some kids, it is hard for me to get mentors to mentor one. I have some mentors that have 10 kids because we can't get men to come in and mentor one. We had an amazing race this summer where organizations split up and did amazing acts of kindness throughout the city. It was like 4 organizations that showed up to do something different. The kids have to see us unify. They have to see us work as a team. How you expect them to work as a team and we can't work as a team? And the thing that I said this morning, the most important thing is love. When we were coming up in Camden back in the day, everybody loved everybody. Everybody, families was everybody's family. We was all related because we were from the city. And now there's no love in the street. Every week when we meet at that library and them kids sitting there, it's closed off, they pour their hearts out. There's no way I can expect them to do homework. I can't expect them to do homework when their hearts is so heavy. Their kids' hearts is heavy. You have no idea what the underlying problems are that these kids is holding on to, or why they run into these different brotherhoods and sisterhoods. My godchild that I was raising at the time came out valedictorian from Camden High 4 years ago. She graduated from Marshall, Texas, from Wiley College last year. She's now in grad school. It's no stopping her. But when my husband was killed, it was no resources for me. There was no counseling for me. There was no resources. And even the resources that are here now, this mother who just lost her son, 13, been down to the prosecutor's office. She was at Metro. She was at DIFA. She was at Center for Family Services. She was at the guardianship program, and everybody turned her away. And when she went to the men in the street, they like, that's what the daddy get. Nah, because his dad. And everybody want to put fingers at his dad. She cried out for help. They shot her house up before her son was killed. She cried out for help. That program Tracy was talking about, you know how many kids are trying to get in the program? It takes months. It doesn't happen overnight. In the meantime, he died. Do you know the very next day they came to Taisha and said, you're approved, we're going to relocate. He did. The next day, the politics don't care. We got to get back to the neighborhood that loved each other. That's where it started. It come back to the love that started right there. We got to come together. We have to unify. Yes, it do have to be administrative. Yes, it needs to be structured. Yes, but don't leave these meetings and disappear. It happens all the time. We started doing just solutions. We be moving. Everybody started doing their own thing because they tired of the meetings and then everybody disappearing. We have a purity party on February 6th. If you have girls from 12 to 18, not just gangs, sex trafficking is very real in Camden. Get them to the purity party. 12 to 18. We need to let them know they're beautiful, inside and out. Discourage them from wanting to date the gang members, okay? We're starting with that. We have Camden Girls Rock, February 27th. Creative arts. It's a lot of things going on. We're starting with self-esteem, conflict of interest, everything. Gang prevention conference the following month. There's things planned. Support it. We do need to do a community calendar. We talked about that this morning. But that's
I didn't mean to cut her off, but we do have to be mindful of everybody get a chance to speak. We do, if you look in your seat, this is an agenda, but you asked for the community calendar. I was just informed by the Firefighters Union and the members of Brotherhood United Firefighters. This hall is officially closed until April. They're not letting it be rented for nothing else. No other events, no other anything is going on because they're renovating. Every Monday at the 10 o'clock meeting and at the 7 o'clock meeting, it will be every Monday from now on out, no matter what the situation is. He just told me we could have it every Monday. I have the keys, and we could just make sure this keep on going, and not just for one night and one purpose and one kid, and that's just it and stop.
I'm gonna make this real short. Basically, we got a lot of good information tonight, but most of that I didn't really come to hear. What it boils down to, what you can do right now, because everybody's talking about solutions and actions. What you can do right now is constantly research what you need to look for as far as gang involvement with your kids. It's right there on the computer. You can look it up. You can look up gang signs. You can look up tattoos. You can look at their friends. You can go to their page, click on their friends' page. You can look at the gang signs that they putting up. You know what your kids are doing. It's not once they leave the house you don't know, because these kids are so flagrant now that they put everything all the way to threatening murders on Facebook. So how you don't know and everybody else know and all your friends know, and then you get an attitude when they bring it to you. You don't want to know at the end of the day. When I say you, I don't mean you that's sitting right here, which some of y'all it might be. I don't know, because I don't know y'all. But I'm saying you in general. So at the end of the day, if you want to have a solution base to this, start watching what the kids is doing and start educating yourself to gangs, because gangs is here to stay. It's not a fad. It's not a trend. It didn't just slide in. People have been working on this forever. We ourselves have been working on this for the last couple of years. We did the assembly at Camden High last year. We've been doing this for a while. I've been doing it in Centerville with the parents for a while. And most of the parents, they like, oh, I don't know, what my kids are doing. Well, your son is committing murder. Like, he's not selling drugs. He's not just selling drugs. He's not getting in gang fights. He murdered somebody already. Your heart is already broken, and you don't even know it because you don't want to know at the end of the day. So if you want to have a solution base to this, then everybody go home, and the trend that you start is start having your friends look for and educate themselves to what the gang entails. As long as you can do that, you can walk down the street and see it. You can see the flags, you can see the colors, you can know when they're at war, you can know when they're at peace, you can know who's riding with who, you can know who their big homie is, you can know everything you need to know if you educate yourself to it. The same way you follow Love and Hip Hop and you know every character and who mess with who, is the same way you follow your kids and what they doing in the streets, because the streets are murdering your children. Like, it don't get no more serious than that. If you don't take the effort, the time to put in to find out what's going on with your kids, then you're really going through like a deep depression. Like, you really gave up on life. Like, you're really tired of being a parent, you know what I mean? And so subliminally, you really want your kid to get killed or locked up so that you don't have to be stricken with that responsibility. Basically, you doing what most of the deadbeat dads do when they walk away and act like they ain't their kids no more. They walking away from that responsibility. It ain't that they don't love a child. They love a child because he part of them. He look like them. That brings every parent pride. When your child looks like you, as little mini yous running around, but they don't want to have to do that 9 to 5. They don't want to have to cough up that bread. They don't want to have to go to the doctors. They don't have to do all that. And now the problem that we're seeing is the moms is getting tired of doing it too. Because the mom's been doing it forever. So that's how the dad's been getting away with it for so long. But now the moms is tired of doing it. So now we got children of the corn. Now the kids is running the streets because nobody's raising the kids. So I never want to hear nobody say, once your kids leave your door, you don't know what they're doing. Because, yeah, you don't know everything they're doing. But the advantage we have now that our parents didn't have then is that the kids tell it. They tell it all. Back then, your mom had to sneak on the phone and listen to the conversation or put your aunt onto it so that she's watching on the other side of town. You don't have to do none of that. But guess who else is watching? The cops is watching. The Board of Education, the teachers, everybody's watching. So when your kid comes to school and the teacher's like, it's because your teacher know that kid's a killer. So that's why she's not doing her job in school. That's why she's not chastising your child, because your child's a killer. And your child will kill them, and your child will kill you. Because guess what? When we was young and we was 8-ball and we was running the streets and we was wilding, because we wasn't no better than them, we was wilding just like them. The difference is your child's big homie is from Sicklerville or Merchantville. He don't even know you. So when he give your child the order to do this and you got your child on punishment and he sneaks out the house, the first thing you need to think is, what motivated him to sneak out the house when he know he's going to get in trouble? Because there's a bigger punishment out there than it is in here. You know what I mean? So that's how you get your first hint. When your child becomes belligerent and they're not listening no more, because the punishment out there is greater than anything that you're going to do to them. You know what I mean? So you start watching and paying attention to their actions, and it tell you everything. And then when you get wind of it, then you start tracking down their Facebook. And if they got common sense and they're not putting it up, you start clicking on their friends. Because everybody's not in a household where the parent is being a parent. And the kids that's not in a household where the parent is being a parent, they wilding and they putting it all out there. And birds of a feather flock together. So your son ain't running with a bunch of Bloods or a bunch of Crips if he ain't now or about to become a Blood or a Crip. It don't work like that. So, you know, we could have 1,000 good ideas. We could have 1,000 meetings. We could have 1,000 organizations. But the real solution is everybody start monitoring their own kids and start holding your friends accountable. Start spreading that word. Girl gangs is here to stay. Like, it's been here for the last 15 years. It's been prevalent for the last 15 years. The only reason it's getting flagrant is because once they got rid of Camden City Police and Byrd and Metro, everybody in the streets knew that the cops was not doing their job anymore. Everybody knew that. You know them boys that came from down the shore is not trying to they not trying to put in no work. They're not running the streets like that. They're not doing none of that. There's no more gang task force. There's no more vice jumping out. There's no riding through Portland like, yo, the jump out boys is out Parkside. It's no more of that. They're not doing none of that. So they selling drugs, they running gangs, they running the streets. When they found out that they was dismantling the Camden City Police, the boys out in North Camden got so flagrant, they got T-shirts made that said, on this day, the street is ours. And they meant it, and it is. From that day forth, the street was theirs. Actually, if it wasn't for snitches, half the people that's in jail wouldn't be in jail right now. That's the only time that the cops got a case, is when somebody tell, or when you do it on camera and they see you. Other than that, they're not doing any investigative work. So if your child get killed, your child is just dead. Like, nobody's going to do anything about it. Not your friends, not the cops, nobody. Everybody's going to be sad. Everybody's going to pat you on the back. We might do a fish fry, maybe a GoFundMe, I don't know. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get no justice. Like, nobody's going to do anything. And then everybody's so busy with their day, and everybody's so worried about their own safety and their own kids, they really not trying to help you. Like, it's up to you. You on your own at the end of the day. The only solution is monitor your own kids. Monitor your kids, monitor their friends, go through their Facebook, they give up all the tapes. There's no way that the feds could have sent out 70 letters to 600 OTF Bloods in Centerville to the parents, directed to the parents and the child and their address. And then only 12 parents come. Out of 70 letters, the feds sent you a letter with you and your child's name on it and told you your child is 600 OTF. Now, how long you think it's going to take before they implement RICO? or guilty by association, so that when you got them tattoos on, you automatically affiliated. Once you're affiliated, and we realize that, and we able to prove that this is syndicated in this enterprise, we lock all y'all up on association. How long is it going to take? And then when they start going through their Facebook page and they start presenting this as evidence, the pictures, then they're going to say, you know. Because really, most of y'all can catch DIFAS cases right now. Because you know, like you're doing nothing, like you're neglecting your child. You're neglecting their health, their welfare, you're neglecting them. You're not really taking care of them, you're not really feeding them. This is why they run into the streets. So unless you really think you can just get away with not raising your child, and that's what really needs to happen to make y'all start parenting, is that y'all need to start being held accountable. Like y'all need to start getting locked up for not taking care of y'all kids. And then once that starts happening, then it won't be oh, he's 16, he can sign himself out of school, or once he leave the house, I don't know what he's doing. It won't be that anymore. At that point, it'll be, boy, you better do what I told you to do, or else. But, you know, I could talk all day, man. At the end of the day, like, just take care of your kids, man. Raise your kids. Be involved in their life. Check their Facebook. That's the solution. Monitor your own kids, and when you need help, tell your friends. Tell each other. Tell your friends ahead of time. If something happened, girl, your daughter's she's a blood. You know what I mean? Tell your friends. And if somebody come to you, don't go back and sell them up the river to your child, because your child's a murderer. Remember that. If your child is gang affiliated, whether they got a body already or not, they're a murderer. Because all it takes is for somebody to give the nod. And if they don't, they end up dead. So it comes down between them, and if you think they won't kill your friend or kill one of your friend's kids, you sadly mistaken. Like you're still in denial. So
thank you. Hold on, stay right here. John, hold on 1 second. Every year for the past 5 years, I have done a father-son camping trip. I take kids from the city, take them in the woods. Cornell went, a couple other people went. John does the same thing in one of his friends' backyards. Where's it at, Sicklerville? Well, they rotate wherever they do. This year, I want you to come with me. In the real woods, there's no bears. Cornell could attest to this. It's not really that dangerous out there. It's swimming and the whole 9 yards. So please. So I want to reach that out to you. When we do it this year, please attend and bring all your friends with you. Like I said, I've been doing it for the last 5 years, and we have fun, and the kids enjoy it. Next, Mr. Hornby is going to say something. Brahim, I want you to speak. His name? Did you want to speak?
How y'all doing? My name is Rashawn Hornsby. I just wanted to really just, speak my mind, just really into piggyback off what John was just saying earlier when I was here at the earlier meeting. That's kind of what my thought process was, my idea was. For me, I'm just real big on men being men. I don't really like putting a lot of weight on the women, like John was saying. Our women have been doing it forever, period. I was a father at 17 years old, got married at 21, coming on 14 years being married. I love my wife. I love all 4 of my children. I even went and got custody of my little brother that I have now since he was 11 years old. I had him for almost 3 years now. I just feel men need to get back into the house. We need to continue to be men, and a lot of these men don't know how to be men. To me, a man's only real job, the only thing you really look out to do every day is to really protect and provide for your family. That's for me. If a man can't protect and provide, a lot of men run away. And not being raised the right way, not having strong men in your corner, a lot of men don't have anybody to turn to or look for that positive image, because a lot of our images are these Stevie J's and these guys that they don't represent me. That's not a man to me, right? So at the end of the day, a lot of our young men don't have an image to go off of. And like I said earlier, a lot of our successful men, a lot of the athletes that come from here, a lot of the entertainers, they don't stay here. And like I said earlier, how many kids that just play sports here, play football, know that a Heisman Trophy winner came from the city? Mike Rozier, he won the highest award in college football. But how many kids know that somebody like that came from here or won that type of award? I just feel that us being men goes a long way. You know, I know for me, I've been there for my son since he was 17, since I had him at 17. He's 16, he's about to be 17 years old. You know, he's a young man. He does music, so he's, you know, pretty popular. A lot of girls want him, but I'm not having that. You know, he gets pissed at me all the time. You know, the party that Tamir got killed at, my son was there. My son was there, my little brother was there, my nephews were there. They all were there. They were calling me scared to death, running away. And it's like, what do you tell your son? He gets mad at me. He's like, Dad, it's a party tonight. I want to go there. Like on New Year's, it was a party. I'm just like, dude, I want you to be with me and your mom tonight. I'm not going out to the club nowhere. I want you to be in the house. And it's like, because I lived that life. I know it's out there in the street, and I don't want that phone call. I wouldn't know what to do if somebody called me and said something. It's making me emotional, right? But I wouldn't know what to do if that happened to my child or my little brother. Or like, that's horrible to me. I woke up that day, and my wife came to me. She said, you know, little Nate got killed. I'm like, who's little Nate? And he's like, you know, Nate and Randolph we grew up with. I'm like, what you mean? How? He's 13. And now here come my son and my nephews. They all at the house. And they telling me, I'm just like, this is horrible. They're torn apart because they, you know, they hung out with little Nate, you know, and it's like, it's sad, you feel me? And it's like, I'm telling Gary, we talking about it, and I'm reading an article in the Courier Post, and it's like, you know, little Nate, the youngest, you know, killed since 2013 when Troy Anderson, 15 years old. That's my family. That's my cousin-in-law. My son just put a song out last Tuesday about little Troy, right? And it's just like, that's horrible to me. He was killed in broad daylight, 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Crestbury Apartments. Like, that ripped them apart. When their grandfather got shot on Hatton Avenue and almost died, that ripped my kids apart. They just left their grandpa. 2 minutes up the street, he's on the ground, got shot, what, about 6 times? Almost took his life. Like, these are the things that are going on in our community. Like, it's horrible out here. I lost so many friends. You know, one of the other little guys that used to hang out with little Nate, I coached him, little Jerome Tatum. His dad is dead. I grew up with his father, and this is one of my football players. This year, he couldn't even finish the season because he caught a gun charge. You know, they telling me 3rd, 4th game of the season, yeah, you know, we don't have Tatum today, coach. He caught a gun charge. When? How did this? He's 13. His dad died from a gun. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, like, that's horrible. And I tell my little nephew, Damil, because he was so close to him, it was Damil, little Nate, and little Tatum, and I'm telling Damil, the only reason why you might not be dead right now with little Nate is because you have your dad. It's because you have somebody that cares about you, because your dad is not going to let you go out there and run them streets. I know, like I said, my son, he gets pissed at me. My daughter, they get pissed at me because there's a lot of things they can't do, just period. And I don't care if you young pop or none of that, you can't go. You just can't go. I want the best for my son. Right now, he's in Gloucester Catholic. He's not playing football for Canton High for reasons, but he's already, oh, Dad, I want to go back to creative arts and this and that. Why? It's a little more. I know it's harder for you, but you think I'm going to send you back over here where it's easier for you? That's not that type of house you're being raised in. So if you need to sit down here for another hour or 2 hours, which you're not used to doing, then that's what you're going to do, bruh. Period. You're going to take my trash out. You're going to do them dishes. You're going to do everything you need to do. I don't care about no Young Papa title and all that. That don't have no weight in my house. I built the Young Papa brand so I could destroy the Young Papa brand. Period. Period. First and foremost, I dress like this. It doesn't matter to me as long as my kids have. I give my kids everything, but you're going to get your education. I tell them all the time, your sister's busting your ass in the classroom. You think it's cool because we don't do season here. One of his teachers looked at me one day when I came to her, oh, how you doing, Mr. Moore? I said, yeah, I want to talk about my son. What's going on? Well, what seems to be the problem? I said, no, he has a C. Okay, if you look at the grade system, A, B, C means danger. That means we can either go D or F or we can go lean back this way. So I'm not waiting until it's D. If you have a C, red lights going off in my house. Red lights going off in my house. And that's real. When my brother came to me and said, yo, I went in creative arts, and I saw your daughter name on every marking period. She's on an honor roll. She cried last year, she got 1B all last year. This is what I raised, right? And she's 13. Where can she have the time to have a boyfriend or have sex? I take her to school, and I pick her up from school. Every day. Every single day. 2 years ago, I started something called the 90-Day Fathers Challenge. I don't really have too many likes. I got maybe 200 or something likes on the page, you know, versus what I feel it should have. But it's just a page where every day I put up pictures of men with their fathers. I mean, men with their children, men with their wives. I put this up every day just to try to serve as an inspiration, and I challenge men to do something with your child for 90 days straight. When you go get a job, they don't give you those benefits till after 90 days, right? Till they know you're pretty serious. I figure if you do something with your child for 90 days, after that, it should just be like second nature, period. And I challenge men with the Facebooks, the Snapchats, all that. It's no excuse. I don't care if you live out of state or whatever the case may be, but I know me as a man, nobody can keep me away from my child. Nobody. If me and my wife wasn't together today tomorrow, she know I'm fighting for custody of mine. You got to win that battle, sis, because I need mine with me every day. When I go home tonight, I've been out all day. I barely seen my babies. I seen them in passing. When I go home, I already know tonight when I hit the door, my twins, if they're up there, they're going to say, Dad, at the steps. They're going, here they come right now. My babies, I'm going to light up. They gonna light up. Soon as they see me to the hour, it's like clockwork. Period. Every day when I drop my daughter off to school at 13 years old, I kiss her. I love you. Have a good day. Every day. This is every day. It's just until a couple years ago I stopped kissing Pop. He like, come on, Dad. But you're my son. That's my boy. And it's like at the end of the day, I feel like as men, we need to step back up. We need to step back up. We need to get back into the homes. And even women, if it's not working with the man, still allow that man to be a father to his child. Don't keep that away. That's one of the things I hate. I hate when it comes to women. Like, whatever's going on with y'all too, like, let that be. But it should be no reason to keep a man away from his child, especially when he wants to be in his child's life. Especially when he wants to be there. Don't keep a man away that's trying to be there, because there's too many of them that are running away. So at the end of the day, man, like, that's what I'm all about. I'm all about being a father, being a man in my community that young men, young women, whoever, my peers, that's somebody to be proud of, my parents, my mother, that they could be proud of, period. It's not about for no fame and no fortune and none of that. It's about me giving back, like I said earlier, about caring about somebody outside of myself. It takes a lot to do what Wawa does. It takes a lot to do what John does, different people, communities, what Nye does. It takes a lot to sometimes put your family second and put somebody else's family first. It takes a lot. Because a lot of times I'm pretty sure that she's probably tired. But it's something in her that keeps her going, because it's like a lot of times I know it's like, well, if I'm not going to do it, who else is going to do it? Period. Because these kids, they need somebody. I could say, oh, you listen, I don't have time to coach this football and all that, but a lot of times that's what helps me get through my day. If I'm tired or if I'm feeling a certain way when I go out to the field, those kids bring me joy. They're funny as I don't know what. You know, if you just sit down and talk to these kids, man, they're bright, they're intelligent, they know what they want out of life. A lot of them, they just looking for the assistance for you to help them take it to the next level. Like I say all the time, my son is not the only superstar or kid that has talent in the city of Camden. It's just the fact that when he was 9 years old, he came to me and had a rap already written and said, Dad, this is what I want to do. Let me hear you. I said, oh, you know, that's pretty good. I said, but you know, if you're going to do this, I'm going to push you. I said, do you really want to do this? He said, yeah, Dad, I want to do this. Well, I'm going to make you the best in the business. Period. I got your back. No matter what, he knows I have his back. I'm his superhero. Like I say all the time, you as a man, you your child's first superhero. Any child, you take them and get a child, and there's something wrong with them, they can say, man, I'm going to get my dad. That, like I said, that chest, you hear like, what, my dad, like, you kidding me? When a child look up at you, I don't care if you this tall as an adult, but when that child is right here, they looking at you, you a giant. You a giant, they looking at you like, man, that's my superhero. It's like, nobody can beat my pop. That's how a child is looking at it. They know that they have somebody that has their back. You playing that superhero role. And I want to be a superhero to my children and 150 other kids that I service, and anybody else, whether it's going into schools, coaching football, because a lot of those kids, they don't have those superheroes. We need our superheroes back. Period. We need those superheroes back, man, to where those kids, those young ladies, they know, hey, listen, I'm not going to be nobody's baby mom. My dad ain't ready. I'm somebody's wife. You don't talk to me that way. My dad never talked to my mother that way or to my sisters that way. My daughter doesn't see me beating her mom and all this crazy nonsense and all that. Like, we don't do baby moms and all this drama. That's just not what it is. That's why when kids come over, I know why I can attest. When kids see structure, they don't want to leave. They want to stay there. They want to stay around that structure. They don't care if you get them. I have kids that come over the house. You already know, yo, somebody better get these dishes. Somebody better this. And they don't mind. They don't mind because they know it's all love. They know anything they need, they can come to me. I'm going to be right there for them. Whatever it is, I talk to my boys. When this was going on the other day, Gary, I had all of them with me. We went out there and seen little Nate's mom, and I had them with me all day. And that's all I did since this happened. I've been building with my son and my little brother and my nephews. That's all I've been doing, is just building with them, talking to them, trying to see what's going on with these gangs. Like John said, I'm like, yo, what's going on? Because I know what's going on. And I'm asking them, yo, how can Blase Blah be a blood and he's a Crip and they cousins or they brothers? I'm asking my son this. I'm like, how does that work? Do you kill your own cousin because he's in a different gang? Or like, how does that work? When I see all together all the time, and it's like now, you know, I guess something goes on, and so it's like, how do you do that? And it's like, for me, it's just kind of confusing, and I just think it's really because these kids don't have their superhero. And it's like he said, a lot of kids, they don't eat, they're homeless. It's a lot of that going on. So if this guy here on the corner, not you, Mal, but if this guy says, hey, listen, I can, you know, give you a roof for the night, I can maybe feed you for the night, a lot of kids are running to that. They run into that safety net that they're not getting at the home. And I just think as men, we need to come together. We need to start backing these women up, you know. And at the end of the day, like I said, too, our women need to start supporting our men. We need to get behind them. You know, if you make more money or whatever the case would be, as long as he's actively trying, you need to support that man and inspire that man to do better and be better. And I feel as though having him around is a lot better than not having him around. So that's just my opinion. I thank y'all.
Hold it, stay right here. Hold this. I want you to read something. How many parents? I ain't gonna let you go. Don't worry about it. I was messing with you. How many parents here have Facebook? Instagram. Okay, so that's mostly everybody in this room. Mr. Hornsby going to read something for me real fast because I have to look up something on the internet. And I gave you guys, as you came in, it was a letter. And if you look at the bottom of the letter, it's the Willie Lynch letter. At the bottom of the letter, I'm going to start at the second to last paragraph, the very last sentence, and then go into the last paragraph before we wrap this up. I want you to think about this and look at your page as he's reading this and see this is what's going on today. Mind you, this letter was written in 1712, supposedly. Some people say it wasn't. Some people say it was. But while I look up something else, Mr. Hornsby, we're going to read this, and then we're going to try to wrap it up. Again, this meeting will be held every Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning and at 7 o'clock at night. Some people offer to give donations. The donations will go towards refreshments and giving money towards the firefighters for allowing us to use this hall for their lights and water bills or whatever it is. We ain't going to give them a lot because they gave it to us for free, but we're going to give them something. And then the rest will go towards the kids.
It says here, now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action, but before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and that envy is stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves, and the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female versus the male, and the male versus the female. You must also have your servants and overseers distrust all blacks, but it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. Gentlemen, these kits are your keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss opportunity. My plan is guaranteed, And the good thing about this plan is that if used intensely for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful.
I was looking at it to say, how many people see right now on Facebook it's team light skin versus team dark skin? Nobody ever paid that any attention? It's like, okay, well, that's team light skin over there. He got light skin tendencies, so we ain't gonna deal with him. Or he dark skin, so he a thug for the rest of his life. The letter that I gave is something that I strongly believe in, that they using those tactics to have a hold on us as a people for generations to come. I hope everybody got something out of this meeting. There's going to be another meeting next week. There's going to be another meeting the week after that. And if you didn't speak this time, speak the next time. If you have some information to bring the next time, bring it with you and speak on it. Again, there is no political gain. There is no social media gain.